And just like that, we are live. It is Wednesday evening, 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Steve V. This is episode 751, alongside the person who we're going to premiere his video, preview it, Kodi Maurice. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. I'm so excited. Tonight's going to be fun.
I know. A little later in the show, we are going to
Yes.
preview his brand new music video off of his EP, Thing of Beauty. It's called Proof of Love, and we are going to give you a preview of that. But first, let's get into sex talk. And this was part two of what we were talking about on Tuesday's episode. This Is Me Now. In that one, we talked about identity with Jeremy Ross Lopez, our co host. We talked about
Mhm.
aging and confidence. Now we're shifting it over to the bedroom, sex, desire, and reinvention. So it's going to get a little juicier on this
Ooh.
episode. And we were talking about things like our bodies changing, our desires evolving, our confidence shifts, the way we connect sexually. And we talk a lot about reinventing ourselves on this show. We did on the last episode, but nobody really talks about what that means in bed. Because the truth is, the sex we had at 25, it doesn't always translate at 45 or even 55, to quote me. Not because it's worse, not because we're different. Our bodies respond differently. Our needs are deeper, and honestly, our tolerance for bullshit is way lower. So the question is, are we evolving sexually with ourselves, or are we still chasing a version of sex that doesn't even fit us anymore? And I really like that, because when we ask the question, how has your sex life actually changed over time? It makes me think of a quote I just saw by Rupert Everett the other day. You'll remember
Okay.
Rupert from
Love him.
My Best Friend's Wedding, Madonna's best friend at one point. Well, Rupert went on record saying having wild sex in Rome in the 70s, and he remembers making love at the Colosseum. He said, everyone cheats and has been cheated on. I've cheated on so many people. When I was a teenager after the freedom of 1968, I thought autonomy had something to do with romance and sex. I was very unfaithful. On the risk of publicly coming out in 1989, he said, I survived well. I gained more than I lost. If I had married my friend Michaela in Rome, things would have been different. There's a price to pay for everything. The freedom I discovered in the 70s London was also experienced in Rome. I remember making love in the parks, at the Capitol Hill, and even at the iconic Colosseum, which I found open at night. That would never happen today.
Yeah.
Customs and
Oh, the
traditions were
70s.
widespread in the ancient world. I felt like an ancient Roman. I experienced the most unbridled freedom. And he talks about being Valentino's guest at a big party, and he remembers the trapeze artist, the angels singing, the play of lights, the most exhilarating entertainment. And so this was his in 1970. He's reminiscing, kind of like what we're doing sexually, of back in the era. And that's
Yeah.
amazing. Can you imagine the
Yeah.
70s post the sexual freedom? Just, I mean, literally right after sexual freedom, it's happening in the early 70s. People are
Yeah.
expressing themselves. You are from the UK, but going to the Colosseum. We all know that parks over the years have just clamped down on what they, late night extravaganzas and all that kind of stuff. But you used to be able to get away with so much stuff back in the day, which is amazing. I think about when I was younger, I grew up in the late 80s, and then the early 90s was when I was exploring my sexual freedom. And the thing is, it's totally different from when Rupert was talking about, because it wasn't a sexual freedom. It was actually being clamped down and fear because of AIDS and HIV that was rampant,
Mhm.
and everybody. So mine is completely different from his. So my early years blueprint looks totally different than his did. I think I've come into my own obviously over the years, but that was my early years of what my sexuality looked like. It was out of fear because of AIDS. What was yours
Yeah.
like?
My sexual awakening, I think it was on the tail end of the AIDS epidemic. Oh, well, not like I mean, it's not over, but it was getting more and more, I think, manageable. So I think when I was coming out, sex was still you had to make sure that you use a condom. You had to make sure that you that all these these I's need to be dotted and these T's need to be crossed before you had sex. But I think there was more freedom than when you initially came out and were exploring sexually at first. So I get that. I get kind of both senses, honestly, but I think that mine is more aligned with yours.
Yeah, right. I think, and then if we were to ask that question, how has our sex life actually changed over time? I would say for me, on a larger, grander scheme, my confidence for sure, the way I approach sex, the way I am just much more confident. And I was thinking about this when we were preparing for the show, and I think I maybe tapped into it a little bit on episode 750 with you and Jeremy Ross Lopez, was that I remember the first time one of my first sexual experiences was with a bisexual guy in college at UC Berkeley. And
Mhm.
I was so attracted to him and into him, but he had a girlfriend and he really
Mm.
wanted it to make it work between the three of us. And we did a few times. We would have sleepovers and I would go to his house, their house, and have sex, and he always wanted me to fuck his girlfriend too,
Oh,
whom
sorry.
which I really developed a really great friendship with. Her and I
Yeah,
became super close. We were study buddies, BFFs, all that good stuff, but I did not really wanna go there, and every time
yeah.
I tried to, my dick would go limp. And the thing is, I think that mentally stayed with me because later on, I became a really good bottom and thought I was just gonna be a bottom for the rest of my life because every
Mhm.
time I would try and top somebody for years and years, even up until the last 15 years, I couldn't get hard, and this is post, yeah, for sure without condoms, but even without condoms, I think the mental thing that I couldn't perform, it would just go
Okay.
loose,
Wow.
like soft, and
Yeah,
it
that's
hasn't been
wild.
until recently that I think I've dealt with that whole aspect of it, and now
Mhm.
you know, I thought, oh, with the things like modern science, Blue Chew, Viagra, I can get hard. Now I don't even need that. I think I've mastered that and I can actually confidently. So a lot has changed with me sexually over the years. How about you?
I love that. I love that you have kind of grappled with these like things, these traumas that you basically had when you were coming of age, and then you kind of
Was the
are
trauma the vagina? The fear of the vagina? I
I'm
mean,
not gonna say that. I'm not gonna
well,
say that out loud. Oh my god, Steve, you're gonna get us canceled.
uh-oh.
The
Well,
lesbians are
not
about
for
to
me
come for us.
personally. Yeah.
They love vagina. No.
You haven't got a thumbs
Um
up.
No, we are not anti-vagina here, but I
No.
mean, that is it's not our
Love
thing. It's not
women.
what exactly. And it's just not what we gravitate towards. It's not what we find sexually appealing. So I get that. Your trauma is probably for me, it sounded like you couldn't get it up. So that's
Performance
why
anxiety.
Exactly. I feel like a lot of people deal with that. Me personally, I've dealt with that a little bit after not having sex for a while because there was a stretch in time where I didn't have sex, and then just kind of, and once it happens one time, it kind of gets stuck in your head. So
Yeah.
I totally get that. As far as how I have changed and grown personally as someone who is coming into his sexual, determination, his whole sexual being, I feel
Awakening.
like awakening is a good word. Thank you. I feel like for me, I have just become more comfortable, definitely, because once you do something a lot, and I've had sex plenty now. I fe I feel like you start to become more confident in yourself. Like, of course, there's, trip ups and there are people that you're not compatible with, but I feel like I have become more confident in my sexual prowess as time has come along, and, people have gone on Sniffies and told other people how good I am at sex, so and it's come back to me, so I am, I can confidently say that I'm pretty good at sex now. So it's just me stepping into that confidence and kind of not being afraid anymore, because I feel like sex was a lot of it was wrapped up in fear, especially like we were saying with the
Yeah.
the AIDS epidemic weighing heavy on our brains. Since modern medicine has come in and things like PrEP and DoxyPep are now a part of the equation, then we're we're a lot more knowledgeable, and there's a lot more options for us that are out there as far as us not having safe as far as us having safe sex.
Yeah, I feel like on the last episode, we were talking a lot about age and how youth obsessed culture. We've talked a lot about on recent episodes, but what we don't talk enough about is the confidence that many of us get as we age and how we bring that. You and I were just at a really cool pop up shop that was at Hell's Kitchen Boxer's Bar, and we were looking at, there was a lot of daddy art and art that
Yeah.
really embraced the daddy and logos that said daddy. And that has really been something over the last several years that I think people are embracing. Younger people are embracing being with daddies, and it's really just kind of come into its own because I think for not all of us, but for a lot of us, we have to go through various stages of growth, but sexual growth as well. And so we're actually much more we're more fun to be around, and we perform better as we age, many of us too. We grown too. I mean,
Yeah.
if I just told you that I couldn't get it up or I was stuck in my head with that, but I was able to overcome that, that's like a big deal. And
Yeah.
I feel much more confident. Yes, I was having sex younger, but I think because of the AIDS epidemic, because of just insecurities, I am now much more come into my own with all of that. And I think that's a beautiful time to be, to realize that and to embrace the daddiness of us all.
Oh, definitely. And you know what? Like, a part of growing into your sexuality is realizing what you're working with. For a long time, if you look at one penis for all of your adolescence, you think everybody has a penis like yours. And then the more you come into contact with other people, and you realize that you might be working with a little bit more than some other people are working with. So I think that that is part of it in building confidence. And let's face it, daddies are looking a lot different now than they were back when we were younger, because
Yeah.
modern medicine, things of that nature, people are looking like just being a a person of a certain age in this timeline. I feel like we are looking a lot better than the Golden Girls back in the day. Unfortunately, we love them.
Yeah,
We
everyone's looking a
love
little
them.
bit better these days, but you bring up a good point.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's that component to it too, so I feel like all of that, uh, in and of itself, like, builds up to us having a lot more sex, being more confident during sex, and just really, enjoying it and coming into our own.
And then if we were to shift to what actually gets better with age, we've tapped into a lot of these things. Knowing our bodies more, I
Mhm.
tapped into
That's
that.
really what I was gonna say.
Yeah, better communication, knowing what you don't want. And then I like this one, slower, more intentional sex. If we were to ask ourselves, what are we way better at now in bed? And I would say more intentional sex that is focused and with like my partner, Diego, my husband. And,
Mhm.
I mentioned recently we had really intense sex and it was super connected. And that's kind of what I'm looking for, you know, not all the time, but I mean, it's so intense, and I don't know that I was looking for that at all or even knew what that even meant. And what would be
Yeah.
yours? What are you looking for now that maybe you weren't before?
Well, I can tell you one thing that's really different now is that, like, being in tune with your body is a hell of a drug because it
Yeah.
gets really wild, and I think that, like, for me, when I was younger, I was kind of riddled with anxiety and just I was so nervous that I didn't allow myself to feel all of the things that sex could bring to you. And even though sometimes, can I tell you, the first time I got my ass ate, I was climbing the wall. So that one, I totally wasn't nervous at all. But now I feel like the more I have sex and the more I'm more involved with my body now, and I'm more in touch with my body, and I'm calmer during sex. So I think that is a huge
Mm.
component to it, and
Yeah.
I think that for me, all of that makes sex more enjoyable.
And if we were to
Did
shift
I
to
answer the
desi
question?
you did, darling.
Thank you, darling.
If we're talking about desire and how it's evolved, often we don't always admit it though. I mean, are you turned on by different things now? Has your type changed? Are you more open, less tolerant, more specific? And do we shame ourselves for our evolving desires? I don't know if we shame ourselves. Some of us might, but I don't know that we're always tapped into what we are into. And I think that's why I love doing this show, is because we give permission and have these conversations so that you hopefully can explore your own sexuality when you listen to us go on and on about
Yes.
our evolving sexual desires. But I think sexual desire does change over time and it can look different. And I mean, how would you answer that question? I mean, do you, how are you turned on by different things now? Has your type changed?
Yeah, definitely. My type has 100% changed. I feel like growing up, you get told that there's only one kind of beauty out there in the world. And I think that for me, the more I explored and I looked around at different people and I visited more places, the more that I understood that there's not just one type of beauty out there in the world. I think there's a multitude of beauty in the world, and that, every race, creed, color, gender expression, there's beautiful, beautiful people everywhere. So I think that me getting older, I've been able to discover that, and it has fulfilled my life so much more because I can recognize beauty in so many spaces now. Now, talking about the things that turn me on, yeah, I
Yeah.
am. I used to be Mr. Vanilla in my early 20s, like Mr. Missionary. I feel like, nah, not that bad, but I feel like I am a lot kinkier now. I feel like for me, it yeah, things that I thought I would never try.
I love
I
that.
have tried and I have loved them. I think I still have 2 hard no's out there in the world, but I mean, I feel like a lot you could still talk me into. What about
That's
you?
great. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I mentioned on a recent episode that I had a period in time where I entered the New York Mr. Eagle contest. And with that came me immersing myself into the BDSM culture. And along with that, all of the various types of play that came along with that. And I'm talking things like fire play. The interesting, there's Dom sub play, which I participated in several times. There's flogging, getting flogged. I've been with an actual whip before. There is leather and kink play. But the one that really fire play was the one that surprised me the most because talk about
Mm,
emotional. uh, It's you lie on a massage table with oil all over and somebody, Master Joshua, shout out to Master Joshua, takes flames and kind
Mr.
of puts
Joshua.
them at different points in your body. And I cried at the several times at the end of it because it was so emotional that I had no idea about that it was bringing up so many things that it was erotic, but it was also
Mm,
emotional at the end of it.
and therapeutic, it sounds like.
And therapeutic, super therapeutic, because I trusted him so much, and he really showed me a different side of myself that he literally
Love that.
tapped into through fire, and that
I'm
was
gonna try.
breakthrough. Yeah, absolutely. We can make that happen. Well, we are live, and We have people commenting right now. Doug says, as I've gotten older, sex has meant taking your time, foreplay, and cuddling after than I did when I was younger. Yeah, I think that's kind of what we were tapping into, not this rush. I think the insecurities of youth sometimes means you think, uh-oh, I just gotta be and perform. And I think you just gain so much more confidence when you
Yeah.
get older. So,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, sorry.
You want me to read Adrian's?
Yes.
So Adrian says, I'm still exploring my sexual energy as a 6'2" bottom. I know for a fact that younger guys are not for me. I like a man who is rugged, but can also be romantic. I love men of all races, but I'm still waiting to find the one for me. Same here, boo. He says, I love daddies, not going to lie, and I want to explore more. I love that. And being a 6'2" bottom, I've seen a shirt that says, I'm not a top, I'm just tall. So you go be you. You're not alone, baby.
Ooh, that's a
Okay.
great
I
one,
know, right?
Adrian.
I wish I was
Yeah.
tall so or a bottom so I could wear it, but I'm not.
That is a great one. Yeah, we're gonna do a story about tops and bottoms in a minute
Cool.
after this in our hot topics that stick around for that one, Adrian. But thank you for sharing. Keep those comments going through. And, you know, lastly on this, if we could kind of do a fun lightning round like we like to do
I
on this
love a lightning
show.
round.
Let's do
Yes.
our lightning round. Something you enjoy more now than before. Oops, that was our dog
Hi,
Bella.
Bella.
Sorry. Yeah. Something you enjoy more now than before.
You know what? I think that I might have been a little bit afraid to eat ass before. Not afraid, but just like it wasn't really my thing. But now I eat it like groceries. I eat it like it's birthday
Like a
cake because it
snack.
is. Yes, I love eating ass. It's my favorite thing in the world. So
Mine
bring
would
that cake on
be
over, boys.
yeah, bring that cake over. Something I enjoy more now than before, topping, because I mentioned it before. I couldn't get it up and I think I had anxiety over it, mental anxiety. And now I can confidently, without even any sort of enhancement. And that just makes me happy. So that a sexual myth you let go of. A
Oh
sexual myth you let go of.
my.
Cody?
A myth that I let go of.
I'll start.
Yeah, start.
That when you become a certain age, that you age out of sex. I feel that, I mentioned earlier this year that in addition to working out and all that good stuff, I had my complete wellness check. I just saw Wilson Cruz on Threads
Oh,
post that
love
he
him.
just said that studies say at earlier ages, at 45, we should get our colonoscopy. And I just did mine. Get yours checked too. And I think that's really good. Your health is so important to you, but I would say, yeah, the myth that aging doesn't make you sexy anymore is blown out the door.
I'm gonna go with that one too. I can't think of anything else. That's
That's
a
a good
really good
one.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that instantly makes you feel sexy today.
Oh, it's easy for me. Like wearing, I don't know, I might have said this last time, but wearing like sexy underwear, even if I'm wearing a suit, that makes me feel a thong, a jock strap, anything like that, and I'm all dressed up. It makes me feel so like hot, and I love every second of it. So yeah, it's sexy underwear.
Mine is Wednesdays because it's hump day to begin with, and we do this show, and we do so much to
Yeah,
plan this show that I feel completely sexy. I do a promo with my shirt off for Instagram every week, and that makes me feel sexy. I usually work out right
I love that.
before, so I'm feeling right, ripe and sexy, and I have a protein
Thick, honey.
shake, and then I film the little promo, and I'm going to be filming them the little promo in Puerto Vallarta next Wednesday. So that makes me feel sexy every week.
Love it.
And I think there was one more that I wrote that would be fun. A boundary you have now that you didn't before. Hmm.
You wanna go first on this one?
A boundary that I have now. I don't know that I just walk away if there's something, if I don't, I think the confidence to know when to walk away. is my boundary. And where I
Yeah.
think in the past I would stick around and, oh, I didn't have the confidence to say no. Now I just walk away, even end a session if it wasn't sex session, if it
Oh,
wasn't.
yes.
I've done
Very
that
good.
where I've stuck around because I didn't have the confidence to really say, this isn't working for me. Yeah, it would be that.
Yeah. Nice. Mine would be, and I just had it 2 seconds ago, and then I loved yours. Mine would be, oh, I'm not gonna have sex with anybody I don't like. I think that, like, for me, it was very, I would just go along to get along sometimes. So I think that for me, making sure and kind of talking to the guy beforehand, that's a big boundary for me, and making sure, I actually enjoy you in your company and who you are. Maybe we're not getting married, but I want to make sure that I like you as a person before we have sex.
That's big. I love that. Doug says, feet is my new favorite thing watching us live. Yeah, that's been mine for a long time. Act on that one. Adrian says, I enjoy pain that is pleasurable. Yup, tap into
Mm,
that. That's a really good one. Pain is pleasure. Christopher, watching us live, says, yes, I feel that I love to wear my jocks under my work pants. That is hot. I remember the
yeah.
story that somebody once said where they worked in the financial world and they went and hugged a new colleague or somebody that they hadn't seen in a while. And they looked great. When they hugged them in the blazer, they could feel a harness underneath
Ooh,
the suit jacket, and they just knew he was sporting a harness underneath his business suit on Wall Street. So
so
yeah, I
good.
get that. Yeah, do those little things for yourself that keep it sexy, even if it's just for you. You know you're wearing it. You know what you're doing, and yeah, you got to merge those worlds. I love it. Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
let's keep this conversation going over on our Tags Patreon community. You can grab a free account, you can grab a paid account, which we really appreciate the support when you do. And this is where the conversation keeps going all week long based on what we've been talking about. You can go to patreon.com/tags podcast. And now is the time that we are going to be switching gears, and it's time to give you a little preview, not the full, but we've got just a little preview of Kodi Maurice's brand new music video that supports his brand new EP, Thing of Beauty. Well, it came out earlier this
Yeah.
year, and it's
Yeah.
the song Proof of Love. Why don't you do the introduction and let's give people a snippet?
Well, the song is basically, it's about making sure, you tell the person that you love them. So the video, I wanted it to be sexy. I wanted it to be, all about me. And because it's my very first music video, so I wanted the people to see my face and see that, I'm the singer. And so here it is, you guys. I can't wait for you to see it and enjoy it and comment and tell me how much you love it. All right, here we go. Hey, hey. Fell for you so quickly, kisses sweet and risky, caught my mind and body. So enraptured with you, someone I could cling to, but oh, where's the love that we had? We're still in love, but out of sync. We cannot find the love we have together. Tell me, baby, tell me what's up. Out of my mind, feeling lost and lonely. There we go. And we're back.
Okay. And we're
Yeah, I
back.
got you.
Okay. Did we freeze?
I don't think so. I think we're good. We're good?
Okay, good.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. What do you think? Do you like it?
Oh, well, I was privy and watched the whole thing when we
Yeah.
did a little preview party here.
Yep.
And by preview, I mean Diego, you and me. And I love it so much. Tell everybody where it was shot, who directed it, and what else.
So, this was we shot this back in November before I had surgery right after this. So, I went to LA. I called Teddy Alexis and I said, "Boom, babe, do you want to shoot
Teddy
my music
Lexus
video?"
being one of our co-hosts on
That's
this
right.
show.
Let me calm
Yeah.
down a little.
Yeah.
So I called Teddy Alexis, one of our co-hosts here at Tags Podcast, and I reached out to him and I said, I would love for you to direct my music video. And he said, we can make that happen. I have a space. He hooked me up with so many things, and his services as a director at no charge. He's such an amazing director and a wonderful person. I stayed at his house too, so he helped me out a
And
lot.
you shot it at the Frida Kahlo
I know.
Theater in Los
Yeah.
Angeles?
Yeah, it was amazing. There was I think you'll get to see there's like a whole flower board in the like parking lot area, and that is where we shot some of it, and it was just a gorgeous setting. So I'm really thankful to him. I'm really thankful to the Frida Kahlo theater in Los Angeles, because it was an amazing shoot and it was so seamless and we collaborated so well. And yeah, he's just an amazing person. He wants to submit it to some festivals as well. So
Oh.
I can't wait. It's just I hope it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and better and better and better.
Well, congratulations. And we should let
Thank
everybody
you.
know if you're listening to this and you want to watch it, you can go to our youtube.com/tags podcast, where you can always watch this episode. If you listen to us on Thursday or Friday when this drops, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel. However, the full video drops Friday, correct, Cody? And will it
Yes.
be on YouTube?
YouTube, Vimeo, and any if you can think of any other place that I can upload it to, put it in the comments for me
We'll
because,
post it on tagspodcast.com. We'll post it on our Tags
perfect.
Patreon
I'll send it to you.
community. But then people, I'm sure you'll be doing social media at
Yep.
Mr. Maurice, where people can get the link, correct?
Yep, 100%. I just did a promo for it, that I'm gonna be releasing, Friday, tomorrow, one of them days, because, if it's not out, then what am I directing people to? So, it'll probably come out. I'll show the promo on Friday probably.
Well, congratulations. Proof of
Thank
Love,
you.
new music video by Kodi Maurice out this Friday. And let's move on to hot topics because there's a bunch. And we got to talk about there's a sexpert. You're trying to get him on the show that I
Oh,
would
yeah.
love as well. Dr. Matthew Brinkley, he goes by, or his name. He gives a lot of videos about dating advice, how to avoid emotional, unavailable men. But he lives in LA and he was recently talking about toxic tops. You heard me, toxic tops who think their dicks aren't
What'd you call
deserving
me?
of the same distasteful discourse they dump on bottoms. So here's what he said. He says there's a judgment around topping versus bottoming in those spaces. And I think he means sex spaces, dark rooms, and being labeled negatively for the number of people one bottoms for. He says, but tops don't endure same labeling as tops in those same spaces. He sums up the disparity with a moan of disgust. Ugh. And I think this is a really good thing that he's really bringing up because I do think there's a difference on how tops in spaces that, whether it's a dark room, whether it's a bathhouse, are considered the one to get, and they can have as many men as they want. I mean, immediately when I read this story or heard his video, I thought of the many tops I've seen at any of these place spaces or parties washing their dick in the sink almost proudly and not even going to the restroom to do it. They're just doing it out in the open. You know, you can go to a private bathroom and do that, but it's like preparing their dick and they don't care that anybody sees them. I mean, I just think they have a lot of more gall than bottoms do, and there's a lot more bottom shaming out there.
Oh,
What do
yeah,
you
for
say to what
sure.
he
I mean,
says?
I have washed my dick off in the sink before, but only when there's been a little accident. So it's I'm not washing it off just to like prepare or show everybody that I just had sex.
Yeah,
I think that is kind of like too overt and like just too full of yourself, honestly. And I think that a lot of tops are kind of toxic when it comes to something like this because what makes it, it's all based in misogyny too, because what makes a bottom, uh, them having sex with multiple people, what makes them worse or sluttier than you? No, you're not, they're not worse or sluttier than you. You're a slut too, sir. Okay.
maybe we should just either embrace the term or stop shaming one position or the another. Just stop shaming all
Yeah.
of the positions altogether, I think, is probably our
Oh,
best bet.
definitely. I mean, that it's from your lips to everybody else's ears because I don't know if that's going to be something that we can adopt in this in anytime soon because I feel like a lot of it is rooted in like a hierarchy in the gay community basically where with tops being on the top for
Yeah,
pun intended. But I think that you know, breaking it down and talking about it more and more will help uproot some of that in misogyny because you know it's something that we don't want. Without bottoms there would be no tops because where would we stick it,
yeah,
guys? I don't you know, I'm not sticking it in any of these these tops out here who don't really clean that well. So yeah, personally I love a nice bottom. If you've had multiple, I love fucking a cummy hole. I'm just gonna put it out there.
yeah.
It feels amazing and it feels hot to go in after somebody has already just come in you. So yeah, sign me up. I love a
Absolutely.
nice loose cummy hole.
Let's stay on sex spaces because in Minneapolis, of all places, it's preparing to consider it legalizing and regulating adult bathhouses and sex venues where consenting adults may engage in sexual activity. And it's come about recently because Minneapolis in the 80s, during the AIDS crisis, actually banned all in 1988. It was reported by the Star Tribune the last bathhouse to operate legally was 1988. The Star Tribune added that in a statement, council members are argued LGBTQ plus gathering spaces, including bathhouses, have long been targeted by criminalization and policing, and our communities have paid a devastating price for that. I like that it was a council member that is putting this up. Several cities in Minnesota, including Duluth and St. Paul, have allowed the bathhouses to continue with varying levels of oversight. One ordinance would add a new chapter to city code specifically for adult sex venues. It would establish licensing and business regulations for establishments where sexual activity between consenting adults may be facilitated. And I think it's about time that we are revisiting. Not all cities have these harsh rules, but
Yeah.
Minneapolis clearly inducted many of these during the AIDS crisis and then never revisited this at all.
Yeah.
And I think when they use between consenting adults and back to stigmatization, destigmatizing what that means, that creating spaces like this. Now, it's not clear if this will go through or not, but I like that they're
Mhm.
bringing it up,
Yeah.
and it will give our community much more less shame, I think, on how we get together. Not everybody really is comfortable with the apps. Not everybody is comfortable with going out to a bar. We were going to do a story on people. Some people don't drink that much anymore. So bars are anti on what you would look for. So I think this would be a good thing. What do you say to this?
Oh, I completely agree. And I hope it really galvanizes people to, and especially in other cities, and to really look at their laws and see if there's anything that's kind of outdated or antiquated. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing, especially these laws are not meant to be. That's why the Constitution, despite what Donald Trump thinks, is a living document, because these things are not meant to be something that is, you know, for always and forever. It's something that can be changed and can evolve.
For always that's a song, I know it is.
Always and forever.
Forever. Sing it. I won't.
I love that
Okay,
song.
let's do a little bit of health news related to our sexuality. Recently, taking doxypap, doctors remind everyone of a lesser known side effect to watch out for. This one's really surprising. Doctors are just really, we all know taking doxypap, I hope you know by now, can eliminate STIs, STDs within 72 hours when you take it. And many doctors are prescribing it to lessen STIs proliferating. And as my doctor likes to say, so we don't just keep giving it and keeping it in a circle within a community. And I think it's a really
Yeah.
important thing, particularly, we're spring, summer, we're entering that fun seasons where people are out and about, we're going to festivals, we're traveling more, and you might want to pack your doxypap. Well,
Yep.
here's one thing that is a lesser known side effect is that sun exposure is something to look out for, that doxypap and sun exposure do not really work that well together. What I've asked my doctor was before, watch your sun exposure. Now, that's a hard thing to say when we're going into the spring, summer months, correct?
Oh
However,
yeah.
wearing, which I always do, SPF, I'm headed, you got to keep your SPF going and take care of your skin. But also, now we know side effects of doxypap and sun don't mix. But he did mention to me, my doctor is wearing your SPF and just taking that due diligence.
Yeah. Something to look out for.
Absolutely. And then staying on our health news, Shigella. I didn't know. Am I saying that right? Shigella infections.
Looks like it to me. So, Shigella or Shigella? Yeah.
Infections are on the rise, mainly in the UK. The increase is being seen particularly among our community. And in 2025, England recorded over 2,500 cases with noticeable patterns. Cases among adult men without recent travel history have been rising faster than in other groups. And the thing about this Shigella is that it tends to have to, it could be a foodborne thing, but it really has to do with fecal oral routes. So you mentioned the first time you got your ass eaten, Cody,
I think I
and this is the
mentioned
way.
ass eating a lot in that
Yeah.
30 minutes.
So it's increasing a lot, mostly in the UK. The highest number of cases were in 2025 in London. 54% was a study that showed this. It is used to, what symptoms to look out for is all to do with your gastrointestinal areas, things like mild to severe diarrhea, bloody sometimes, stomach cramps, and fever. If you are sexually active and you're in the UK area or just in general, and you didn't eat anything crazy, go see a doctor. They are warning, though, that certain strains of this are resistant towards certain drugs. So we just want to kind of keep an eye on
Mhm.
this. It's nothing to be alarmed with right now, but we'll continue to keep an eye on it. And like I said, most cases are showing up in the UK right now within our community. So, good hygiene is number one. They say things like wash your hands and your ass, apparently too. When we were saying earlier, what guys washing their dicks, wash your ass too. Keep it clean.
I love
I'm
this
just
show. We
saying.
just
I know.
have all the tips.
Tips and tricks. Okay.
Yes.
Well, this next story I thought we had to talk about when these two brothers were funding their Olympic dreams using OnlyFans. And back to the UK, they actually said they couldn't use they couldn't raise funds using OnlyFans. When I'm talking about Klaus Francis Rosenthal had a message for anybody who's offered that he's chasing his Olympic dreams with money from OnlyFans, get over it and sign up was his messaging. British, you know, canoeist Curtis Adam Rosenthal, who says he's been forced to choose between his career as an OnlyFans model and an Olympic athlete. This past November, the UK governing body for water related paddle sports banned him 2 years for a racy video, all but making the decision for him. But the 23-year-old Rosenthal says he has no regrets. He says his annual grant from Paddle UK was 21,000, while he earned over 130,000 from OnlyFans over just a few months. Klaus says that the measly stipend that he lives on throughout the whole year, and most Olympic athletes of his caliber leaves many with little choice but to work a side hustle, and they don't have time to work two jobs or a measly job and not make that much money. And he and his brother have moved to other countries now to actually be able to have OnlyFans. And since they're not from the UK initially, uh, New Zealand rower Robbie Manson, who started his own successful OnlyFans in 2024, says his income from the platform allowed him to keep competing. What do you say about these athletes that, I mean, I can remember as a gymnast back in the day, gymnastics was the one sport, like many of these, your goal is often to get to the Olympics, but you don't make much money. It's not football,
Yeah.
it's not basketball, it's not any of these sports that have huge, financial backgrounds. You are kind of left up to your own. Are you going to work at McDonald's or
Yeah.
open an OnlyFans and you work your own schedule?
Yeah, and these sports are not cheap either. They're expensive. They are they've trained their whole life for this. So and a lot of them have nice bodies. So I feel like why not capitalize off of it? As long as I think that maybe there is some like moral high horses that people are standing on, and I feel like that's kind of not neither here nor there. How else are they going to fund themselves for their dreams, basically? And as long as they're not compromising themselves anyway, then I feel like it's okay. Who cares?
Who cares? They move to their original countries and they're competing for them. And if they win gold for those, then the UK is going
It's
to
the
be
UK's
like
loss.
wishing, yeah, it's their loss. I think we've reported on the Olympics before on how they provide in the Olympic Village condoms for all of the Olympic athletes, saying that we get it, but here's a bunch of condoms. They were running out of condoms in the recent two Olympics. They've run out of condoms. I think if the overall Olympics is, we talked about Grinder being only allowed within the Olympic Village and keeping them safe. So you have to, if the Olympics is like you said, an old entity, it's been around forever. We have to move on with the times too. The
Hmm.
UK
Yeah,
banning them for making money so that they can keep up with their sport, this type of content for those that are of age to consume it should not be something that should disqualify them from competing, but they just moved to a different country and are competing for
that's
them
right.
now. So snaps out
Good
to
for them.
them. And for, I love that. Okay, well, we love giving advice on the show, and today is no different than any of them. You can always ask us for sex and relationship advice. We are here for you. We will give our handles at the end of the show, or simply go to tagspodcast.com and email us via the website. Well, this one comes from Reddit, and they wrote, I think a lot of us aren't addicted to men. We're addicted to the moment someone shows interest. Ooh, that's like just a powerful opening statement, Kodi.
Yeah,
That small window where you feel seen for a second, chosen, wanted. And you keep going back to apps, to situationships, to people who give you just enough, not because you actually like them, but because that hit of someone picked me, quote, is the only thing that quiets the noise for a while. I started noticing I wasn't even attracted to half the guys I was chasing. I was attracted to the fact that they noticed me. That's it. That was the whole thing. And when it faded, because it always does, I'd just find the next one. At some point, I realized I wasn't looking for a person. I was looking for relief from how I felt about myself. And that's a much harder thing to sit with than just, I had a blast in men. Anyone else been in the cycle? That's a really a powerful thing to say. I mean, I think we've all been
Definitely.
there at moments
Oh,
in
yeah.
time where people have shown you interest. And yeah, it's the same thing with people liking a picture, a thirst trap that you post, and you check to see how many likes or people and who actually liked it. It's that adrenaline rush that we all have a little bit, and I think that's human nature. It's
Yeah.
really knowing the difference. He's posting this comment about it and realizing it. It's that realization, how much time am I spending in that arena? And I think back to our original topic, in our 20s and 30s, I was a go-go dancer. That was how I got off and had an adrenaline rush, was how many people tipped me or said, "Ooh," and gave me that look. But to me, that faded away. And yeah, I still like it if somebody likes a thirst trap I may have posted here and there. I'll still check here and there, but I'm not spending my time on there, and I spend more time on things that are healthier for me. Because if I did, it's a rabbit hole. And
Yeah.
I just think hopefully we evolve out of that. What do you say to this?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. I've been in this position before. Earlier, I mentioned that I was a go along to get along kind of guy for a little while, especially in my early 20s, because I feel like you're just chasing that approval, that outside
Yeah.
validation, and because it could be so hard to find within yourself when you're younger. So I've been there. I totally get it, and like you said, it is human nature to look for validation. Like it's something that we crave as a human being. It's when you start to get lost in that and you start doing things to compromise yourself. I think I mentioned it in just before. When you start to do things that you don't want to do to chase this validation, that's when you need to take a look at yourself and evaluate why and where this is coming from, and who what you can do to curb those that in within yourself.
Absolutely. I love it. Do we have time for one more? Should we get to Thirst Trap?
We can make it quick. Which one do you want to do really fast? Or
Well,
should we just do thirst trap? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
this was a quick one that I think we could probably answer really quickly. When somebody asked what to do at gay destinations when you don't drink that much anymore. And it's interesting because they said, so I'm currently in PV. I'm not new to gay destinations, P Town, Wilton Manors, etc. And it's my second time in PV. I don't drink as much anymore, maybe a beer or two at most. And I have the feeling of getting drunk during the daytime. It's easier for me to find things to do. Yeah, I would say on this one, I've noticed a lot of people either are curbing their drinking if they can a little bit more, or I mean, there's a whole culture out there, the mocktail culture. I
Yeah.
think this idea that you can't go out, I know everyone might not be at the same level as you. Certainly, there's going to be people that are blitzed out of their mind, but do you really want to hang out with them anyway? I mean,
I don't
I've
wanna
gone
hang out
out
with
plenty of
them.
times. People keep their right mind too. There is nothing, no shame in ordering a sparkling club soda with a lime and still
Yeah.
going out. I've met plenty of people that are not crazy and enjoying the evening that you can meet and still hang out with those people. We were just talking about on episode 750 brunch gays. Are we still into that brunch thing anymore? And we all said, the three of us, Jeremy, Russ Lopez, you and I, that while we've done that before, it's few and far between because it's just a whole thing, and we're not trying
Yeah.
to get, like, blitz drunk, you
Not
know.
sustainable
Yeah.
at this
So,
age.
you can still have fun, have that club soda, or he mentioned he likes a beer or 2. Ha you know, have a beer, have a club soda, have another beer, and talk to those that are sane, and they are there. They're not all,
Yeah,
not everyone's nuts.
Yeah, I've hung out with people. I have friends that don't drink, and they're very fun. Personally, after my surgery, I didn't drink for 2 weeks. So, not this one, the one before.
I was gonna
I
say.
drank the next day one. But yeah, so that I was out still. I was still having fun with people. It is you can have fun without having to drink, and there are so many options nowadays for you to actually go out and do a non-alcoholic beverage. That being said, if you feel like if you go out and you don't want to drink, and that is more of a pull for you to drink, if you're around people that are drinking, I would say kind of avoid it until you can get that under control. But otherwise, go out, have fun, enjoy your life.
Yeah, and we just did a whole story on upcoming bars when everybody thinks that gay bars are closing, and they are. But we did 5 new gay bars on a recent episode, I think 748, that are opening now across the US. And one of the 5 is going to be a non-alcoholic. They're gonna do more of like a coffee lounge. They're gonna have entertainment. And it's not that they're against
Mm,
drinking, it's just that that's their thing. And I think there's more, you're gonna see more of that. So kudos to that.
cool.
Well, we love doing Thirst Trap, and today is no different, produced by Straight Up Gay Porn. And this week they asked the question, which of these 15 gay porn stars took the hottest photo of the week? It's our job on a audio podcast to vividly describe who we picked. I'll post this on our Tags Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/tags podcast. But Cody, who did you pick and why?
Well, there's a couple on here. So Roxas Calum is always a favorite. Wade Wolfgar is always a favorite. But my vote, my this is he's my porn crush. I have a couple porn crushes that I will always vote for, and River North is one of those people. He's the most amazing body. He's beautiful
Yes.
man. He's sitting in the picture. He's sitting on like one of those like a 70s vintage
Very
chair or chaise or
70s.
something
Looking
like
very
that.
Luke Evans, I might say.
Oh, he's so hot. He's just completely naked. He's got big fat dick hanging between his legs. He's got a baseball cap on, and he's got his hand up to his lips with just one his index finger right on the where the top lip meets the bottom lip, and he's giving an intense stare. He's always just so sexy to me. So he gets my vote for this week.
We've been talking so much
What about you?
about daddies lately, and you and I went to a whole photography exhibition practically. And mine
Yeah.
goes to Wade Wolfgar, as you
Love
mentioned, and
him.
many, I think somebody else in our chat mentioned him as well. He is serving leather daddiness with that leather cap, a la Tama Finland, really hot biker jacket, gloves, even, and that's it, leaning back on a bench, bench that you would get fucked on, showing off a huge dick curved over to one side. He's got a nice hairy chest
He's so
and
fat.
great
Nice fat
balls,
cock.
and he's looking down on it. It's a great shot. Wade gets my pick of the week. You can vote as well. It looks like, who else voted? Doug said Wade. Okay. Leather. Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Keep voting. And James says Locke Rios. Oh yeah, Locke is a favorite. I think
Oh,
he actually
yeah.
won an entire year on this straight up gay porn voting thing before, and he's looking delicious, thick cock. Christopher Griffin, watching his live, says Christian and Dax have me thinking how it would be to be stretched. Ooh, yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
can. I love it.
Get
We could do
stretched,
this
boo.
all night. Oh my goodness. All
Yes.
right. Well, w- don't forget Kodi Maurice's brand new song, Proof of Love. The music video drops Friday. You can watch this if you're listening to this on our YouTube channel to get a preview. Go to youtube.com/tags podcast. You can follow Cody so you can get the actual video at Mr. Maurice on Blue Sky and Instagram. Follow me on the gram. I am underscore Steve V. And in the meantime, thanks, live virtual audience. In the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Lovely. Thanks, everyone.